Do you ever have this creeping feeling of jealousy when you see these online gurus' life seem perfect, everything from their lifestyle to their productivity? And although you try to deny it, you know it's there. Well, I promise you to show you the truth behind not only why you feel like that, but why their lives look like that in the first place. And although you may think it has to do with them simply lying to you or hiding things, it goes way deeper. Chapter 1, The Truth. It was the end of 2021. I started seeing these videos by guys like Iman Gadzhi, Andrew Tate, and Hamza in this self-improvement and business space. I just started learning about business after being into fighting and fitness just for the past year or two before that. Then I started following their advice. The meditation, the monk mode, the cold showers, the not caring about your feelings and doing aggressive work. Now you would think, hey, I probably made some progress. Well, maybe a little bit, but there was a problem. I spent thousands on courses and tons of time just watching this content and trying to apply it, yet I made very little progress. I meditated every single day for 250 days, 10 minutes a day. I took cold showers every single day, 10 minutes a day for months. And then I thought I should delete all social media because that was the problem. It's like, oh, these guys' advice doesn't work. I'm starting to scroll on social media more anyways. I just should delete it. Well, there was an issue. That wasn't the problem to begin with. And although these gurus, they seem so polarized and they have very strong biases and they seem like they're such good experts at what they preach, none of this matters. And the reason why none of this matters is because it's not a problem with them. It doesn't matter how much they hide from you, pretend they make more money than they do, or whatever else you get mad at these influencers for. I know that you probably talk with some people you met online, or maybe even in person, about, oh, this guy, he's, Andrew Tate, why would he say this thing? Or, oh, he's so cool because he said this thing. And you always have some sort of opinion about these people. But guess what? None of that matters. Doesn't matter that they're super polarizing. Doesn't matter that Andrew Tate one day is telling you one thing and another influencer tells you something different. Because none of that is the problem. Being on social media isn't the problem. The problem is you. Chapter 2, The Problem. As I was watching these creators, it was getting into 2023. I ended up getting a job at a drive-in movie theater just close to my house. And yeah, I was making a little bit of money from there. I was working a little bit harder, but I still wasn't at that goal I had set to make $10,000 a month, just that same year. And I was blaming these influencers. I was reading tons of books, and I was just kind of scrambling around, not really sure where to go. And yeah, I had made some money. I'd started some online businesses earlier that year, made a couple $1,000s, but it started to plateau and eventually decline. The issue was, as I started searching for solutions, is I was searching outwards. I was looking around me, but I never took a second to look inside. Because I was the problem. I, was here looking at Iman over here on YouTube telling me one thing, and then Andrew Tate was telling me another thing, and then I was reading these books, and I was watching these podcasts, and, I kept thinking, okay, this is how I'm going to make this progress. And some of it was subconscious, some of it was conscious. Then I took a second, and I asked myself, well, hold on, what is it that these people are preaching to me, and what is it that I'm trying to achieve? And then slowly over time, I started uncovering beliefs from my mind. And what I started realizing is when I took advice from these people without confronting the fact that I believe something, I would start fighting against myself. And then that's probably why you find it so hard to do the work you tell yourself you're going to do. Continue to scale your business and continue to do the things you tell yourself mentally that you're going to commit to. Because when you take the advice and try to apply the beliefs from these online gurus, what ends up happening is that you take their beliefs and then they start clashing with your own without you even realizing it. For example, maybe you have the belief, and I kind of did, like, oh, going to school is good. I just should keep going to school. It just wasn't even a thought. Well, these guys are telling me, oh, don't go to school, drop out of school, whatever. And I even had talked to tons of them. Like I've talked to different online influencers and whatever, and even worked with one guy for my online partnering business. His name is Elliot Holst, if you want to look him up. He didn't directly tell me that, but other guys in this space who are in this sort of business, self-improvement space are always just trying to spew their advice. And that's my point. That, you can listen to these different people and you can make some progress. Like I've collected tens of thousands of dollars. But what really made me make more progress was confronting the beliefs that I had. Because if you don't, what ends up happening is you end up being in this constant cycle of taking beliefs from other places and trying to act on them. But the thing is that it's not that simple. As a belief, it simply equals a condition that you're met with plus evidence. And, well, that'll give you that perceived truth, which is a belief. Because a condition is just something around you. So, for example, maybe you have to take a test and the condition is that you can't use any other material besides your own mind. And then you have evidence of that fact because when you tried to use that, your teacher told you you can't. So now you assume, because you perceive the truth that going forward in all these tests, you can only use your own mind. And that's how these beliefs start getting formed. But the problem becomes when you got these guru beliefs. Now, nothing against them. I've watched tons of content. Again, I got some help. That, just equals the condition, but you don't actually have the evidence to support it. So they tell you, you need to go take cold showers, or you need to do this sales strategy in your business. You must do this business model, whatever it might be. And then you just take that as, a perceived truth. So there's no condition. There's no evidence. There's only a condition which creates that perceived truth in your mind, which then creates that belief. But the problem is because there's no evidence, and you have evidence of your beliefs, what ends up happening is that this evidence clashes with this belief and makes a pretty big problem. And the problem here is the fact that going forward, you'll continue to fight with this belief based off of this evidence without ever accepting the fact, because it honestly hurts. Like you accepting the fact that you're the one who made that choice to not do the work you told yourself you were going to do, not complete your to-do list, not go to sleep on time. It kind of hurts to accept the fact that that was you who made that choice. But until you can actually do that, you're not going to be able to fully accept any belief from anybody, even if they're in a position you want to be. So how do you actually do that in the first place? Like, where do you start? Well, that leads me right to chapter 3. Chapter 3, the solution. So as I started taking more time to really think about what I believed and taking a step back, well, I started making less money, ironically, based off of what I've just been telling you. However, what it allowed me to realize is what I actually believed, what I stood for, and what I needed to believe, and the skills I needed to develop to be the type of person who could achieve the goals I had. In fact, my income even went down from like $500 or $5,000, $6,000 a month, all the way down to $500 a month back in, I think this was like April or May or somewhere around that time of 2024. Then thankfully my income started going up again because I really took that time to figure out what skills I needed to develop and started creating that consistency. But until I realized that fact, I wasn't able to close the gap between the things that I was doing that I needed to stop and the things I needed to start doing so that way I could achieve the goals I had. And even recently, the same thing happened. Same thing came with my business where my income almost got cut into a tenth a couple months ago. So I had to go back through and kind of work through that same process. And exactly how you can do this is super simple. Just imagine your vision as the destination. It's your vision is what you see at the top of this mountain, right? Well, the thing is you right now, you can't climb and work your way up all the way up this mountain. You aren't physically and mentally capable of doing it. However, there is somebody out there that is. So once you can figure out who that is and why, you can start defining the skills and beliefs that they possess, right? Not just the ones they possess, but the ones that you don't. Because you might have some, but you don't have the whole puzzle. You might have 73 out of 100 puzzle pieces, but you need 100 to start climbing up to the top of that mountain. And then from there, what we can do is we can take these online gurus' advice once we have defined what these skills are, and once we have defined what these beliefs are, as well as what our values are in relation to getting to the top of that mountain. Do we want to do it in a disciplined, structured way? Do we want to do it in a flexible, flowing, patient way? How do you want to go about doing these things? And what is the character that you need to become? What would they do and how would they do it? And then you need to simply define where you're at today and the gaps between today and that person. And then we can start pulling from these online gurus different advices and these different books and podcasts. And we can then take the time to figure out how can I implement this to close that gap, meaning I can become this person faster, meaning I can achieve my vision faster. And the best way to do this, it's not going to happen automatically. It's not even going to happen in one session. Not even going to happen in 10 sessions of doing this. What you need to do is have constant periods of reflection. I would say weekly, maybe an hour, or maybe do monthly for a couple hours, or quarterly for an entire day or two. And then what you can do is start asking yourself, where am I at in comparison to the character I defined? Is there new information that I learned that this person possesses that I now am aware of, so I need to execute on it? Is there a new vision I have based off of new things I experienced? And you can start asking yourself those sorts of questions. Because then once you do, you can redefine that path, getting you ever and just slowly closer, but ever and ever closer to that person, to the top of the mountain, to achieving the things that you want. So if you do want to get more help with this and get some free resources for me personally and just some help for free, click the top link in the description so that way you can get help defining this character, achieving that vision, and actually implementing these online gurus' advice instead of just thinking they're perfect and getting all jealous. Follow me on Instagram, DM me, and I'll link you up.